TransUnion got sued for $23 million, and if you're affected, they owe you money. Imagine that you found the perfect apartment, you saved for it, dreamt about it, and finally, it's within reach. But then, you're denied, not because of your actions, but due to the errors on your credit report that you didn't even know that existed. So how would you feel? Pretty messed up, right? TransUnion was recently caught providing inaccurate information affecting thousands and possibly you. Today, we're going to dive on how TransUnion, one of the largest credit reporting agencies in the world, is being sued by two heavyweight regulators, the Federal Trade Commission and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So why should you care? Because this case isn't about a corporate penalty, it's about the accuracy of your credit report, the very report that determines your eligibility for housing, loans, and sometimes jobs. The inaccuracy in TransUnion reports can mean the difference between securing a home or getting denied. In this video, we're going to dig deep into the nitty-gritty of this lawsuit, what it means for folks like you, and how it's going to shake up things in the world of credit reporting. So let me give you a little bit of background. So let's talk about why TransUnion, one of the biggest companies that manages your credit, got in trouble. Two important groups called the Federal Trade Commission, which is the FTC, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, found some problems of what TransUnion was doing and they took them to court. These two groups help make sure that companies are fair to people, especially when it comes to money and credit. So in a nutshell, what credit is when you borrow money or get things like a house or a car on a promise to pay later. And your credit report tells how good you are at paying things back. The FTC and the CFPB said that TransUnion messed up on their credit reports. They had mistakes in them, especially in reports used by people who rent out houses or apartments. These mistakes can make it hard for someone to rent a place to live. TransUnion was caught violating the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is the FCRA. This law is really important because it says companies like TransUnion have to be careful and honest of what they write on credit reports. It's kind of like a rule book for making sure that these reports are accurate and fair. The problem was that TransUnion credit reports had wrong things on them, like saying when someone didn't pay rent when they actually did. This could cause a big problem for people, like not being able to rent a home or an apartment. So this lawsuit is about TransUnion playing by the rules. This goes to show that credit bureaus don't care and they don't do their job. This is why we as consumers need to pay attention to our credit and reports to make sure that it's right. This is why credit repair exists, to put these credit bureaus in check. If you have any negatives on your report, it's always worth disputing them since there may be an error in reporting. You can definitely do this yourself, but if you want the easiest way to streamline the process, I do have a software called Credit Rehab Pro that can help you repair your credit within a few clicks. Link in the description. So now let's talk about the key issues with this lawsuit. Firstly, the inaccuracy in tenant screening reports. Imagine applying for an apartment and being rejected because your credit report mistakenly lists multiple evictions. That was the reality for some consumers, as TransUnion reports included erroneous eviction records. These inaccuracies range from multiple entries for a single eviction case to reporting evictions that were either dismissed or never resulted in a judgment against the tenant. And the consequence of this is that it made it hard for some people to rent a place to live because the landlords thought that they had bad renting histories. This meant prolonged housing searches, unnecessary application fees, and a daunting task of repairing errors on their credit report. So the second major issue in this lawsuit is security freezes. So a security freeze is an important tool for protecting you against identity theft, allowing you to restrict access to your credit report. But TransUnion was not quick enough to put these freezes on people's reports. They had a backlog of nearly 40,000 unfulfilled requests. This is a problem because it could put these people's information at risk. So these two mistakes were serious. One mistake could stop people from getting a place to live, and the other could put their personal information at risk. That's why the lawsuit was a big deal. It showed that TransUnion needed to do their job correctly. It's important for them to make sure that the information that they have about people is right and that they help people quickly when they ask for things like a security freeze. Now let's talk about TransUnion's penalties and what could be owed to you. When the court decided about the lawsuit, they told that TransUnion had to pay a lot of money because they messed up. TransUnion has to pay $23 million in total. But for a multi-billion-dollar company, I think it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. Out of this amount, $15 million is used for problems with the housing renting reports. They have to give $11 million of this money to people who had trouble because of these mistakes on their reports. The other $4 million is the fine, which is money that they have to pay as a penalty for not doing things right. In addition to this, TransUnion reached a separate settlement over not handling freezes in a timely manner. They have to give back $3 million to people for this problem and pay another $5 million as a fine. So in total, 11 for rental reporting and 3 for security freezes, which equals to $14 million to the people. Because of this lawsuit, TransUnion has to make some big changes. First, TransUnion needs to be much more careful with the information that they put on reports about people who want to rent their homes. They have to check everything properly to make sure that there are no mistakes. For example, they need to make sure that they don't mix up records or show old information that isn't true anymore. They also got to tell people where they got their information from. If there's something wrong in your report, this makes it way easier for you to fix it. This is a huge problem when it comes to credit bureau, since sometimes they get information from secondary bureaus and they tell you that they verify that the information was correct. Having this transparency will make it much easier to correct wrong data. Another important thing about the settlement is that they have to help people understand the reports better. If you ask, TransUnion must provide consumers, upon request, with no charge, all the information in their file at the time of the request, including any data that may be provided to a landlord or a property manager. So here's TransUnion Response and future compliance. So after the lawsuit, TransUnion had a few things to say. They didn't say that they did anything wrong, but they did agree that the problems were important. TransUnion said that they have been working hard to get better at checking the reports so they don't make these mistakes again. They say that they are working things with the FTC and the CFPB to help fix things. They also said that they fixed a big problem from before. This was about not helping people fast enough to lock their credit reports to keep them safe. And they said that this was fixed back in 2020, but this is 2023 and they're facing the same issue. They also promise to do better in the future, and they want to make sure that they check the reports right and help people quickly. Well, we have to just wait and see if they actually do these things. Here's my quick take. Big companies like this will say anything to save face. I would still recommend that you review your credit reports often to make sure that the info is correct, and if it's not, it's your right to dispute it. You still have to look out for yourself. These credit bureaus said that they would do a lot of things, so just take it just with a grain of salt. Now, if you believe that you were affected or got a notification that you were affected, you can get compensated. I will link the link down in the description and in the comments. The money that's owed to the people will be in the civil penalty fund. Now, at the making of this video, compensation hasn't started processing yet, so you have to review this website frequently until it goes live. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you want to hang out with me some more and learn more about credit, check out these videos over here.